Hello, everyone. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to day one of my 30-day life challenge. So, today's topic is the wake up call I couldn't ignore. So, that's my topic for today. So, have you ever had one of of those moments, when life make you stop and ask yourself, what if things don't keep going the way they always have? Sometimes life whisper to us. Sometimes it nudges, and sometimes it gives us a wake up call that we simply can't ignore. Well, tonight I want to share the decision that changed the direction of my life, not because it was falling apart, but because I realized I couldn't keep waiting for the perfect time. So here we go. About 5 years ago, before I ever started my building my digital business, something began in changing inside me. My parents were getting older. So this is, I was working in the movie industry at the time. And every time I spent time with them, I became more aware that time is one thing we can never get back. Okay. I love my career. I have worked in the film industry for over 25 years, and I was grateful for everything it had given me. But the reality was that my career also demanded long hours. So there were many days where I spent working instead of being present for the people I love. So I missed so many family times, times with my nieces and nephews at the time when they were little. Um, so, I started to asking myself some difficult questions. What would happen if my parents needed me more? I'm the only one here in Canada with them. So the other question that I asked myself, would I have the flexibility to be there? Um, that's kind of hard because, I usually work 12 hours per day. So that wouldn't be possible. And would I always have to choose between work and family? You know, I didn't have control of my time, right? And at the same time, I was thinking about my own future. So I wanted to take a better care of my health. I wanted to keep learning. I wanted to travel. I wanted to continue growing as a person. I wanted to have a purpose in whatever I was building. But the challenge wasn't knowing what I wanted. The challenge was that I didn't know how to make it happen. So I did what many of us do. I kept working, I kept hoping, and I kept telling myself that maybe one day I would figure it out. Well, that moment arrived in 2023. There was another major setback in my industry. It wasn't the first one. Okay. In fact, it was the third significant disruption I had experienced throughout my career since I started in the film industry. But this time it felt different. You know, the conversations everywhere were that the slowdown might continue well into the following year. So they were talking about the February of the following year. So that was February of 2024. So for the first time, I realized something that completely shifted my perspective. I was getting older. I wasn't younger anymore. Because the previous setbacks, I was young, so for me, it didn't really bother me. Like I wanted to do something else in the meantime while my industry picked up. But now I'm getting older, so that was a different story. And if I continue relying on only one source of income, what would happen the next time something outside my control affected my industry? So it could be a fourth time, right? So I needed to start thinking about that because if it had happened three times already, chances are it would happen again. And that realization became my wake up call. Instead of seeing that setback, as something that happened to me, I decided to see it as something happening for me. So um, instead of looking at it as a negative thing, I look at it as a positive thing. Okay. So it kind of like pushed me to finally take action, encourage me to start looking for another option instead of waiting for life to force another decision later, you know. Thank you, Denise Caballero, for the heart emoji, and thank you for watching the live. So looking back today, what felt like a setback became one of the greatest blessings in my journey because it moved me from thinking to doing. So here is the lesson that I learned from this. Life doesn't always change because we are ready. Sometimes life changes first, and then we decide who or where we're going to become or who we are going to become. So we can control everything that happen around us, okay? But we can control whether we prepare for tomorrow or simple hope tomorrow looks like yesterday. So sometimes the best opportunity begins disguised as unexpected changes, and that's what happened to me. Um, so here's the action step for you guys. If you've been thinking about learning a new skill or exploring another option, starting something you've been putting off, for example, don't wait until life forces the decision. Small actions today can create possibilities for you tomorrow. Just like I did, I took action and then, I finally found what I was looking for 5 years prior. So, but don't wait until that moment. If you can take action now and start preparing before things happens, that's the best option. So I want to say thank you to everyone for joining me today for my day one of 30-day life challenge. And over the next months, I'm going to continue sharing stories, lessons, and experiences that have helped me shape my journey. And I hope that they encourage you as well. And remember, one decision may not change your entire life overnight, but one decision can absolutely change the direction of your life. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow for day two. So put in the comments where you're watching from. I'll be happy. I would like to know where you're happy for, and if you wanna share something similar that happened to you, please put in the comments, and I would love to read it. So thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening, and have a nice week ahead for tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.